the entire time I was just like, I feel like I have more pride than this, but I'm here. Here I am.
Why did you say yes to this show? Did you have any hesitation?
Oh yeah, I didn't want to do this at all.
Why?
Because the MTV version, I mean, it's just like super aggro, super tense environment. I'm super chill. I hate people coming in feeling like they're entitled to win. And there's a couple people on this season that I was hesitant to like work with because I know that they have that exact personality that like the second the cards and chips aren't in their favor, they wig the fuck out. And I hate that type of person. For some reason, that's like my biggest pet peeve. So I was like, I'm too old. I've earned the right to not have to have roommates. I've earned the right to not have to deal with shitheads that I don't care for. And now I have to put myself back into this thing. So there was a lot of back and forth and really the only reason I said yes is because it was going to be on CBS. And I did not want to see it air and then feel like I missed out on something. So I was like, worst case scenario, it's a pile of garbage. And I'll just be like, lesson learned. And best case scenario, it's something really special. And I was on the first season of it.
Well, did you look at any of the survivors that are on it? And you're like, okay, at least I have a rapport with them. I can work with some of these people.
No, I couldn't work with the people I knew from Survivor. They're the exact ones I just barely talked about like 2 minutes ago.
It was the Survivor people that you were most like, and I guess, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'm only familiar with the Survivor people.
Fair. Okay.
Like, I don't know. Big Brother. I mean, I get like a migraine every time I try to watch it because their energy and their confessionals is not real. It's just like contrived. And so I was like, I can't watch that. They're just getting coached in their interviews to be like, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, oh, I had just had another seizure. So I don't watch Big Brother, seizure inducing. Love Island. I did actually watch a little bit of Love Island.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't watch that one, to be honest.
That's okay. I didn't watch all of it either. So here's a little like insider knowledge, Sharon.
Okay.
Even if you don't watch a show, those people that are on the show that you didn't watch still get paid the same.
Facts.
Yeah, it's really exciting for people in public to tell me they never watched Survivor. That's like the number one thing people love to say. Like, you were on Survivor, right? Yeah. I don't watch TV. You're like, that's cool. They still paid me $1 million. Yeah. It doesn't matter to me. You know, thank you though. I'll definitely put that in the old notebook.
So you looked at the cast and there was like no one. You were like, okay.
Oh, I didn't look. I didn't see the.
But no, when you show up day one.
When I show up.
Yeah. Who are you looking around looking at?
Anybody I can manipulate, which was pretty much probably everybody. So the only ones I was a little wary of was Sarah and Ben, A, because of their anger management issues, and B, because we had a little history on Winners at War, and C, because those would probably be the only two that would really understand how dangerous I am. Because I think people watch Survivor like, that guy's dangerous. But then they meet me in person and they're like, oh, he's actually really personable. So we just saw like a weird side of him on Survivor. And I'm like, no, your read was accurate, but like you didn't get the full spectrum of me. And I think that I can be disarmingly charming and hilarious. And sometimes that forces people or encourages people to put their guard down on me. So on Blood versus Water, there was a moment where Tina came to me crying, apologizing that she had judged me differently from seeing me on Survivor versus meeting me in person. And I was like, uh-oh, you don't even know what's coming for you, Tina.
She didn't know.
No, she didn't. She figured it out, but it was too late.
Well, I know you always said like you have these weird skills, right? Where it just works on Survivor. All your skills just work out. Did that translate to the challenge as well?
I mean, looking at the challenge, I also was like, okay, it's more dependent on challenge prowess. And looking around at the cast, I was like, my greatest adversary here is myself. Mm-hmm. Like if I don't have the social skills to protect me from going into elimination when it's something I'm not good at, like banging a skull against another man's skull, you know, that Neanderthalic contest they like to have every once in a while where they're just like bang. And I'm like, oh, 2 concussions in a row. I was like, I'm definitely not going to participate in one of those. But if I am socially strong enough to stay off the block for something like that, then I should be able to crush most of it. And so I really, at that point, was just like, it's probably better for me, because even if you're a big threat and people see you're a huge threat on Survivor, you just vote them out. That's it. Game over. On the challenge, at least you have an elimination, so you have a chance to fight your way back in. And the end game is a gigantic challenge, usually with some endurance component. And I don't know that I've met anybody that has better endurance than me.
Yeah. Like there's no vote. You just have to get to the end.
Yeah. You just have to crush at the end. And if there's one thing I'm good at, it's crushing.
So had you seen pieces of the challenge, or how familiar were you with it?
I started watching it when casting called me almost exactly a year ago.
Okay.
I'd been in talks with them for so long, going back and forth and trying to figure out a way it would work for all parties involved.
Do you know anyone in the challenge circles that you talked to maybe, or did anyone give you advice, or you're just like going in, whatever?
I talked to Michelle Fitzgerald a little bit, which is probably a mistake, because then she probably immediately turned around and told every single person she knew that I had asked her. And then I talked to Natalie Anderson a little bit as well. I'm pretty good friends with both of them. Natalie said it was, or Michelle said it was life-changing and that I had to do it. And I was like, I'm 42 fucking years old. You really think that this silly game show where guys get aggro and flex their muscles is really going to like change my life? I was like, I mean, maybe there's something I'm not seeing that is like so deep and involved and touching that they just refuse to show on camera because it's too good. But then I was like, if it's that good, they'd probably show it. So that puzzled me. And Natalie said, bring a robe.
You kind of touched on this, but like, and I'm asking everyone this, did your reputation from your previous shows help or maybe hurt you when you first walked in the house?
I mean, you just have to be self-aware enough to know what people's perception of you is, and then adjust accordingly in person. I think enough people hadn't seen me on TV, and that played into my favor a little bit. Is some of these younger Big Brother kids probably hadn't seen me, and Love Island people, I think they only just watch their own Instagram stories as entertainment. And so I was like feeling pretty safe there, because even if someone comes in and is like, that guy's dangerous, I saw him on Survivor, they have to take that with a grain of salt. Like naturally you're going to be like, okay, but maybe you just don't like him. And then you fall in love with me and you're like, that guy's wrong, Tyson's right. And now you're on my side even more than you would have been had nobody said anything negative about me. But
you have a family of kids. Some of these people come in, they're single, they're a little younger. Like how are those dynamics?
I mean, if you're single and younger, you're essentially a child. And one thing I'm good at is wrangling children.
Were like the house antics like entertaining for you, or are you kind of like, I'm just here to win and I don't care about anything else?
I mean, one of the entertaining things about going on these shows is watching people mentally and emotionally spiral out of control. And I don't do that. Like I am very, very chill and usually very reserved, even in moments of extreme intensity. And I just like to sit back. If it doesn't involve me, I like to sit back and eat popcorn and watch the fireworks. Sometimes if it involves me, I don't love that as much. But you know, that's part of these shows, is sometimes you kind of have to be in the mix for better or worse. But there's something about it that I just love. Like on Survivor, it's the same. Like, I don't know, a week or two in, you can be like, oh, this guy's losing it. Look, the mask is coming off. He's going to show his true self. Here he goes. He's going to do it. He's going to say something he's going to regret for the rest of his life. I can't wait to have a front row seat to this. What's going to come out of his mouth? You know, I
know you said you didn't really see any, like you were more worried about yourself, but was there anyone as like a physical threat or someone you think challenge wise, you were like, well, I don't really want
to. Well, I mean, obviously like big muscle dudes, I don't want to bang heads against a big muscle dude. Like, do I want to go into a hall brawl with Danny McRae, who played in the NFL? No, I would lose at that. But give me anything else. So my chances are great. Like the only issue that I had going in was like, I'm not young. You know, I'm 42, 43 now. I just turned 43 last week. But so, and the only thing I do honestly to stay in shape is play pickleball, because I'm like at a point in my life where I'm like, if I don't enjoy the activity, I'm not going to like just go and do it just to like slog out an exercise. So that's pretty much it. I play pickleball like twice a week. And to get ready for the challenge, I was like, oh, I got to do some extra stuff. So I started running with like weight vests and doing a bunch of pull-ups and sit-ups and push-ups. I even hired a private jiu-jitsu instructor for a couple months. But still, I was like, that's only a couple months. Like some of these guys and girls have been, you know, working out consistently for a long time. But I also have the muscle memory of being a professional cyclist, NCAA Division I swimmer. I trained ultramarathon with ultramarathon guys. So I see people bragging about running like 3 or 5 miles. I was like, I used to run 40 miles on the weekend through the mountains, over mountains for fun with no goal of anything except for just like, that was cool.
The endurance is there. And that is important because some of these guys gas out, especially in like finals.
Some of them, you mean all of them?
Definitely the big muscly guys. They're like,
yeah.
So, okay, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, we already touched on it a little bit, but aesthetic muscles aren't great at actually doing stuff. That was just part of it, was like, can I still do this without like being fully physically prepared for it? I don't know. And there's going to come a point where I definitely cannot. And I don't want to be on TV for that moment. When it's like, oh, Tyson doesn't have it anymore. And we get to witness that firsthand on national TV. So that's always part of the hesitancy for me now going on the show, is like, when's this point going to come where these guys half my age are going to be able to spank me? And so that's part of it.
But when you looked at like the Big Brother people, you're like, okay, there's 6 people from one cast.
Yeah, that was a little concerning.
Yeah. What did you?
But you also, like, I have been around long enough to know that 6 people from one cast, only one winner, they're going to probably eat each other alive. Like, it's better to be patient in those moments than to start like firing at that group. Because if you can be patient and let them like work their stuff out, 9 times out of 10, they're just going to start going for each other before anything else happens. They're like, oh, we got to get rid of this guy because he got rid of us. And so I think patience, and especially on the challenge, like I think you're going to have a lot of people coming in way too hot, thinking they have to play the game like Survivor. You don't have to play the game like Survivor. There's a handful of people that make it to the end. So I think coming too hot, aren't really prepared for playing a little bit slower, a little bit more patient, a little calmer. That's going to probably bite some people in the ass.
Was that your strategy when you were like, I mean, especially because you haven't played this before. So were you like, let me just go in and adapt? Or did you have a set strategy of any kind?
No, I didn't really have a set strategy. It's just go in and adapt, win as many people over as I can, keep as many people on my side as I can. And the challenge, the few episodes I've watched from the few different seasons, is that the format is always a little bit different. So you can't really have a set plan. So you have to go in and adjust to whatever format TJ has dictated in that time. So otherwise you're making a plan, and then all of a sudden there's like this weird twist thing that you weren't like ready for. And then like you have to adjust or scrap or anything like that. So my main goal when I go out is like, be as calm as I can initially. Don't be seen scrambling too much, and try to win everybody over that you can.
Sounds pretty solid.
It is. A lot of people have a hard time with it, either because they have poor personalities, or they just alienate people just because they don't think they need them. But you need everybody. And sometimes the people on the bottom are the people you need the most.
You got to scoop them up.
Yep.
Okay. Well, thanks, Tyson. I want to know though, if it was, I think I know the answer, but if it was Big Brother or Amazing Race that called, would that have been a no?
Big Brother, 100% no. I'm going to waste 90 days of my life being filmed 24/7. No, I mean, I say 100% no, but if they paid me $5 million, I'd do it.
Okay. Well, CBS now knows $5 million. The
There you go. You'll get your cut too, Sharon, if this thing happens for $5 million.
I'm down 10%.
Amazing Race. The prize money isn't good enough. I mean, the $1 million to split is fine, but like everything else after that is not great. So also large appearance fee for that. But CBS knows I'm worth it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd be down to see it. Who would you pick as your partner? Like Rachel or someone else? Or
I mean, we could have Rachel. We could have Coach. I'm pretty.
Oh God. Coach.
Yeah. See, Boston Rob maybe, but he's already been on the show a bunch of times with his wife, so they probably wouldn't do that. Parv, I could go on with Parv. We're pretty good friends. There's a few people I could go on. I mean, number one would be Rachel, but we'd see what they say. So, but I'm doing just fine. I don't need a show.
You don't need another one.
Yeah, I don't need another show. But if the price is right, I would show up.
Cool.
But I've already had my adventures. Like, that's the thing. Like, a lot of these kids were just like, they're gonna put me on TV again. And I was like, oh no, I know everything that goes. Oh God, I can't believe I'm doing this again. Am I the sucker here? I'm going to be gone from my family. I'm going to miss some things from my daughters. Yeah, it's not an adventure at this point for me necessarily.
Yeah. Like regardless of the outcome, did you have fun filming this show or no?
No.
Just was there for the check and leave.
Yeah. I was there for the paycheck and to win. And those were my only two things. Everything else was like, I'd rather not. Sharon,
I also
28 people in a bedroom with 14 bunk beds all stacked on top of each other. Does that sound awesome to you?
I would never do any of these shows.
Yeah. The entire time I was just like, I feel like I have more pride than this, but I'm here. Here I am.
Did you at least get to talk to your family here and there?
Yeah. Part of the deal was that I got to talk FaceTime with my family twice a week.
Okay. So that makes a little bit of a difference.
A little bit, but they didn't let you say anything about the show. So it was all one-sided.
Of course. So
you'd be like, what's going on with you? And they're like, how are you? I was like, fine. And they'd be like, I don't want to say too much. I'm fine. And then she's like, I don't think he's fine. Like that was pretty short and quick. And he didn't want to say anything about anything, but it was that we had to keep the show pretty tight-lipped, even though it was all leaked online, like the second after everything happened.
It's just, there's people that follow every social media and everything. And they just,
no, that's not what it was.
Oh,
it was like explicit detail on the second of the thing that happened almost before it happened. Somebody in the moment there with full behind the scenes access is pushing that thing.
I try to avoid it. Like, I know it's on Reddit and everything. I'm just like, I don't want to spoil myself, but
yeah. Well, I got a spoiler for you. I'm fucking awesome.
Was your Survivor win spoiled? I don't think it was, right? Back then?
No, it wasn't. And pretty much every single season I go on, the spoilers are like, Tyson wins this one.
I mean, good odds, good guess.
Yeah, it's like a 80% chance every time I go on reality TV that I'll win something. I'm also like the voice of reason. That's how, because I look at these casts and I'm just like, there's so many Looney Tunes on this show. And then I'm like, wait, am I one? I'm looking at the cast and everybody's a wackadoo, but I'm normal. So then I've just convinced myself that I'm the voice of reason. And so the audience is watching me react and being like, that's how I would react because Tyson is the voice of reason. Don't tell me otherwise, Sharon. I just want to believe that. Okay?
No, maybe that's why you get a lot of confessionals. Let's see. I have a feeling that's going to be the case. If you're going to be breaking down what's going on in the house and who's doing what and laughing at them probably.
I mean, hopefully. My one regret is I didn't have my mullet when we filmed. I had long hair back then.
Do you have this on the challenge?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Oh,
I regret not having it on the challenge. I kept my long hair because I was like, my long hair has kind of been my thing for the last decade. And then I went into the hairdresser after. I like to do like a big change after I film a show just to like hard reset, get all that gunk out of my system, which probably has built up in my hair. And just the emotional gunk of everyone like losing their minds, So it's a hard reset. So I go and get my hair cut, and then everybody's like, oh my God, you cut your hair. I was like, that's what I needed. I just needed people to wig out about something stupid for half a second. And when I got my mullet, the hairdresser was like, I can't cut a mullet. I will not. I refuse. I was like, come on, do it. And she's like, okay. And then she cut it and she's like, that actually looks pretty dope. I was like, come on, would I ever steer you wrong? And she's like, but do not tell people that you got a mullet from me. I do not want to cut other people's mullets. I will only cut your mullet, Tyson. Don't make me cut other people's mullets.
Oh my God. It doesn't look that bad because you have like wavy hair. So it's not like.
Right. Well, I think I'm going to go shorter on the top here even. Like,
oh, okay. Then
like
you'll be able to see it.
So then it's more pronounced. But you had to start somewhere. And she was very hesitant to cut any of it at all. So I just kind of let her like make it a sort of mullet, but we're going to go more extreme next time.